This video will review 10 questions you may be asked by your designated pilot examiner on the oral portion of the private pilot Checkride. What are the main control surfaces on an airplane and what are their functions? The illustration on the left shows the primary control surfaces on an airplane, the airplane movement associated with each control surface, and the axis of rotation of each flight control. Let's start with the elevator. The elevator is located at the back of the aircraft near the rudder. The elevator is controlled by the yoke and moves the aircraft up and down about its lateral axis. Pulling back on the elevator deflects the elevator up and pushes the nose of the aircraft up. Pushing down on the yoke has the opposite effect, deflecting the elevator down and pushing the nose of the aircraft down. The ailerons control the aircraft on the longitudinal axis and are illustrated by the orange arrow in the picture on the left. Turning the yoke to the left will deflect the left aileron up and the right aileron down and turn the plane to the left. Turning the yoke to the right will deflect the right aileron up and the left one down, causing the aircraft to roll to the right. The rudder is located on the tail of the aircraft and controls the yaw of the airplane. The rudder is controlled by the rudder pedals. As illustrated in the diagram on the right, pushing the left rudder pedal forward will deflect the rudder to the left and cause the aircraft to yaw to the left. If the right rudder pedal is pushed forward, the aircraft will yaw to the right while in flight. Next, we'll look at trim tabs. Trim tabs help relieve control pressures on the yoke and help maintain a nose-up attitude if in a climb or a nose-down attitude when descending. Trim tabs are controlled by a small control wheel in the cockpit of the aircraft. How is the steering of an aircraft accomplished while on the ground? It can be a natural tendency for new pilots to want to turn the yoke left and right to try to steer the aircraft, however this won't work. Steering an airplane is done with the feet by using the rudder pedals. As previously mentioned, when the left rudder pedal is pushed, the aircraft will turn to the left, and when the right rudder pedal is pushed, the airplane will turn to the right. What is the purpose of carb heat? According to Chapter 7 of the Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, carburetor heat is an anti-icing system that preheats the air before it reaches the carburetor and is intended to keep the fuel-air mixture above freezing to prevent the formation of carburetor ice. Carburetor heat can be used to melt ice that has already formed in the carburetor if the accumulation is not too great, but using carburetor heat as a preventative measure is the better option. What does the mixture control do? The mixture control helps to regulate the fuel-to-air ratio. The purpose of the mixture control is to prevent the mixture from becoming too rich at high altitudes due to decreasing air density. Operating an aircraft at too rich of a mixture can cause engine roughness and loss of RPM. This engine roughness is normally caused by excessive carbon buildup on the spark plugs. Pilots should lean the mixture when at higher altitudes to decrease fuel flow, which compensates for the decrease in air density at higher altitudes. Describe what happens during preignition in a piston engine. Preignition occurs when the fuel-air mixture ignites prior to the engine's normal ignition event. Premature burning is usually caused by a residual hot spot in the combustion chamber, often created by a small carbon deposit on a spark plug, a cracked spark plug insulator, or other damage in the cylinder that causes a part to heat sufficiently to ignite the fuel-air charge. Preignition causes the engine to lose power and produces high operating temperature. What three gyroscopic instruments are typically found in a standard airplane instrument panel? Let's first look at an electronic flight display, which is also known as a glass cockpit. The three gyroscopic instruments are the attitude indicator, the turn coordinator, and the heading indicator. In a standard instrument panel, the 3 gyroscopic flight instruments will appear as shown. If the alternator fails while in flight, will the engine quit as a result? The engine will not quit if the alternator fails in flight. The engine does not require electrical power from the battery or alternator to function. The magnetos that supply power to the spark plugs are engine-driven. How many spark plugs does your training aircraft have? A typical training aircraft such as a Cessna 152 or 172 has 8 spark plugs. Be sure to check your aircraft operating handbook if operating a different type of aircraft. What are the magnetos and how many does your aircraft have? A magneto uses a permanent magnet to generate an electrical current completely independent of the aircraft's electrical system. The magneto generates sufficiently high voltage to jump a spark across the spark plug gap in each cylinder. A Cessna 172 has 2 magnetos with separate sets of wires and spark plugs to increase the reliability of the ignition system. In other words, if one of the magnetos fails, the other one is unaffected. What are flaps and what is their function? Flaps are movable panels located between the ailerons and fuselage of the aircraft as shown by the arrows in the chart. Flaps increase both lift and drag, and their purpose is to allow for a slower and steeper angle of descent during a final landing approach. Flaps may also be used to shorten takeoff distances in certain cases. Thank you for watching the video. Please like the video and subscribe for more flight training and aviation-related educational videos.